Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 podcast for this Sunday night. Liverpool 4, Arsenal 0 is going to be what we're yapping about this evening. We're going to talk about Arteta being a melt, and we're also going to go around the league. Well, we're not going to go around the league, we're going to go straight up to Old Trafford and have a bit of crack, to be quite honest with you. You know what I mean? I still think that he must be still doing that fucking farewell interview. He's doing more comeback fucking interviews than the Eagles. But anyway, Liverpool 4, Arsenal 0. A brilliant reaction to the defeat of West Ham a couple of weeks back. Klopp versus Arteta. We're not going around the league, you know we're not. But it's going to be. We're going to have a bit of crack tonight. If you're in and you're watching, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, and you know the usual stuff. It's all in the description and all that. You know, most of you in here know how it works now. So, Kev, Seany, Keith. Kev, how are we?
We're all right.
Yeah?
We're all right, mate. Sound.
Good stuff. Keith,
Fine
how
as
are we?
cork draw. Me?
Yeah.
I'm great. Good music day for me today, Gav. I started off with a bit of Talking Heads, moved on to In Excess, and then into Prince. I have I have a playlist.
Are we going to get a bit of Diamond and Pearls?
We'll see. I have a playlist, right, and it's called Sexual Deviance, and we all know it's
Sexual Deviance.
but it's literally just In Excess and Prince, just mix.
Yeah.
So it'll be one In Excess, one Prince, one In Excess, one Prince. Great little bit of gear, that has to be said. So yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling, like a little fella who's only 4'3", leather pants. How top of the world, Gav? Top of the world. How much better can you be?
Okay.
I'm not gonna sing because I cannot do Prince.
Okay.
I might
You can hum a bit of Raspberry Beret or something along them
Or
lines.
a raspberry
I'm not going to
beret.
sing because I can't do Prince.
Can't
Straight
you
in.
find in a second-hand store?
I'm liking. Do you know what? I'm much preferring Prince to Leona Lewis and whatever other shit you've been up to the last couple of weeks. You two, Prince gets my vote. Really
Prince
does.
is great. Very underrated. Very underrated.
Well, I don't think he is. I don't think he's underrated.
Great
Goes down
songwriter.
as probably one of the best performing artists of all time. But
but still not doing him justice. Still doesn't do him justice.
He must be underrated down in the keys, is he?
Well, that's it. He only made it onto the Sexual Deviant playlist. You know what I mean? If he was highly rated, he'd be well above there.
Okay, he would have been well in before In Excess. Seany, I don't know if you've been listening to any music. You said you're off the gargle. You've told us
I
that.
actually am. I have been, yeah, but none of the Sexual Deviant variant. I was just watched an audience with Adele there, and she's some bleeding bit of gear. That girl, she's unbelievable.
Yeah. Okay.
Fucking like.
Right, Seany's all over Adele, which is the crack as well. Fair play.
That's what it's all about. Everyone's happy.
I won't say everyone's happy. That's the main thing. That is the
great.
main thing, isn't it?
There's a new head in the chat there that I can see already. Watford killed football for 3
No, that's
points.
Red Steve. That's Red Steve.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and the only reason I know is because he says this 4'3" leather pants, he's destroying Gav. So that's how I know it's him. So fair play, he's off to a flare. Listen, I don't mind him getting the abuse in early. He usually calms down then, but what a prick he is. But I love it. Hey, Steve. But look, Liverpool 4, Arsenal 0, and you know, there's nothing worse than going into an international break with a defeat because you stew on it for 2 weeks and I felt like we did. We were going through everything over the last couple of weeks. And privately, you know, in WhatsApp groups and stuff. We tried to keep it lighthearted on the channel for the last 2 weeks with all bits and pieces. But Seany, I'll stay with you. Your initial thoughts, because we always do this at the start, just your initial thoughts going into the game. A 4-0 win, home to Arsenal. Great way to get back on the bike, isn't it?
Yeah, it's horrible, like you said, when you have 2 weeks to stew on a result and a performance like West Ham. It's never normally good, but I was one of them who thought that the international break came at a good time for us, that because it looked like we were going to get a few bodies back. And Arsenal at home seems to be a bit of a gimme for us since Klopp's come in, at least. I think I seen a stat there that the last 5 games at Anfield, Liverpool, was something like 19-3 on aggregate. So they seem to be a team that we really like to play at Anfield, and yesterday was no exception, really, apart from the first half an hour when I actually thought that they looked like a decent outfit. But look, back on the bike said, like you said, and I think if you look at the weekend's results, you see the big three again making kind of statements in their own way. So again, it looks like it's going to be like the festive period's out to start now. Is that's the kickoff of it
Yeah.
now. So it's literally football every day of the week now for the next 6 weeks. So
Yeah.
bring it on.
Top of the Cop says, evening lads, great result. Arsenal never laid a glove on us. We won every battle and they gave up second half. Check out Top of the Cop actually on Twitter, and they're doing some good YouTube videos, so go and check them out as well. And they've deadly merchandise as well, by the way. So go check them out. We don't give a shit about fucking promoting other people. We'll just do it. We don't care. But they've some good merchandise as well. And I ordered 2 beanie hats, not off Top of the Cop, off the company's going out of my head, but I've ordered 2. When they arrive, I'll show you them because they look deadly. But Kev, as Shawnee says there, it's a good way to get back on the bike. It's a really good result, but and 19-3 or something. But can you get over how Arsenal show up to this every year on year? Can you get over this? Like this?
No,
is
I
couldn't. You know that saying, Kev. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, doesn't mean the fucking thing the result will change. Like,
Yeah.
mad.
I was shocked. I honestly thought Arteta would have at least learnt his lesson from the last time and the time before, and pretty much any time that Arsenal come to us. There's certain things you can do against us, and there's certain things you can't. Playing out from the back is very risky, and if you're not very good at it, it's even more dangerous. And once you break the mentality of defenders trying to do it, it was chicken feed at the end of the day. Arsenal made, that 4-0 result didn't flatter them. It should have been more. If we were more clinical, it should have been 6 or 7. I can't believe they did what they did. And they kept doing it. That was the baffling thing.
Yeah.
Not the fact that they did it once or twice and didn't try to mix. They tried to mix it up at the start, but that stopped after about 15 minutes. But the fact that they kept doing it and doing it and doing it and didn't learn and weren't told from the sideline, I thought Arteta had an absolute nightmare yesterday from start to finish. His selection was right. The team was good. Arsenal are in good run of form. You expected him to do something. But my God. Once he had his brain fart on the sidelines, that was it.
I can't wait to get to that. The Reclaimer says Stat Attack, the Gunners have been beaten 12 times with 4 goals or more, 6 of which have been at Anfield. And Chris Brack reckons that he said that we have the record for beating Arsenal by 4+ goals in the Premier League. So there you go. It's mad stuff, isn't it? A super chat from MC. He says, "Evening lads, how are you? Still buzzing, Arteta." Yeah, we get to him.
Yeah.
And Ramez Khalil has come in with a big long super chat, which really affects me because I'm trying to fit it into this fucking box that I didn't make big enough during the design. He says, "I think our midfield was quite balanced this game. Thiago controlling the tempo, Fabinho blocking their attacks, and Ox bringing the speed and physicality." For me, before we get into the game, like turning up and being, turning up and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. There's just a naivety to them. There's an absolute naivety to it. And I don't know whether it's a naivety because since they've beaten Spurs, I've been waiting for this game. Fucking waiting. And the more good results they got, I've been waiting and to keep saying nothing. I've just been waiting because I said to myself, that's the next big game they have. Spurs wasn't a big game for them. Spurs were appalling. And we get into it in detail, but I just could not get over them. And people giving them credit for the first 30 minutes, I'm about to blow that out of the water as well. Keith, for you, like, it's just a really, really good win. But it's kind of one where you go, yeah, I know, but it's just Arsenal. It's getting to that stage.
It is, yeah, it is. I mean, Arsenal at Anfield, right? They've come before and they've got results or they've got something out of the game. But at the moment, despite the form they were in, it's always a game that I just think they're set up, the way they're set up now, the way Arteta has them playing, and as you've touched on, the playing out from the back, and you could smell it coming a mile away. And Arteta is from that sort of Barcelona school, isn't he? And it's, he worked under Pep and he was the brains of Man City, apparently. And people just criticise Guardiola when he had the greatest club side of all time at Barcelona, that he only ever had a plan B. And his retort is, he didn't have a plan B, he only had a plan A. And his retort was always, plan A is that good. People used to go mad that he wouldn't take corners into the box. And he's like, sure. But this nonsense about taking short kickouts over and over and over again, inviting pressure on against the best pressing team in the league, was madness. And it was evident from early. I don't think Arsenal played well for 30 minutes, to be honest. I think they were slow. I think they were always on the edge of getting caught on the press. Always. And you could see they weren't getting anything out of their attacking players, and they were inviting that pressure onto themselves, and it was only a matter of time. And the fact that he just stuck with it until it was too late, then he started pushing them up and down long kickouts, which was fucking bizarre. Either do that early or don't do it at all.
But you don't. But go on, I'll let you finish.
No, go, jump in. I know you have a soft spot for this sort of stuff.
A soft spot for just being annoyed at them. Yeah. Do you know what? You don't do either for me. You don't do either for me, because I said it on Twitter yesterday. They came with two plans and both were atrocious, right? Yeah. And we'll talk about them as we go through. But you're playing out from the back and then playing it long. He has a left back that's probably 6 foot plus, easy, right? And he's a right back that's probably a centre back. All right. Now, okay. So if you look at the results that teams have got against Liverpool, right? Brentford was a madness, but they stuck to their morals and they went for it, stuck to their principles and went for it, right? Brighton, what are you saying? 2-0 down. We were at Anfield watching that, and Brighton stuck to the things they do and just kept doing it and believed in themselves. Not playing into Liverpool's hands, playing their game and trying to, get at Liverpool, and they did. Right, Chelsea stuck to a plan after being down to 10 men, and West Ham stuck to a plan. They didn't change and go completely off the wall trying to be mental to beat Liverpool. They stuck to their principles and they got something. Arsenal yesterday didn't have a principle to start with. I couldn't understand why Arsenal didn't say to themselves, you know what? If we get pressed here, we're fucked, right? And if we play it long, Van Dijk and Matip will eat things up, right? But Aubameyang's not good in the air, right? Why didn't they just keep hitting them fullbacks? Why didn't that keeper just keep hitting them fullbacks and going, Tomiyasu and Tavares? Why didn't you just put it on them and let them try win it, and then try get Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe, Pierre Aubameyang on the ball, then higher up the pitch in a much less risk way? And he never done it. He never ever done it. I just couldn't get over it. And I think, and Shawnee, I'll come to you and ask you, I think they turned up in the first 30 minutes. And I've seen prominent Arsenal fans say it was a good away performance up until the goal. And I couldn't believe my ears, because I think they turned up. I think they played a certain way. They played on the break, but they played on the break for me like a League One side. And this is Arsenal. They turned up and abandoned all the principles that they're meant to have under this manager, and they went, and they were always going to get eaten alive, Shawnee. But I'm not having it that first 30 minutes they were good. I think they kept Liverpool quiet by being okay. I don't think Liverpool were on it, but I don't think they were good.
I think it's a lot more simpler than all of that. I think Kev said Arteta had a nightmare from start to finish. I don't think they were particularly good for the first 30 minutes. I thought we were particularly pedestrian, particularly average. I actually thought the first half an hour we were crap. I was watching the game. This is a bit shy. And then Arteta kicks off at Klopp and there's a big fracas on the sideline. And it was like he lit a fire. Because Anfield, it was like a big tackle. It was the equivalent of a big tackle happening in the centre, like a 50-50 ball and someone getting smashed and lifting the crowd. As soon as that happened, we just started going through the gears, and
everything started moving faster. The ball started being moved quicker.
And Klopp did reference, Shawnee. Klopp did reference that in the first 20 to 30 minutes, they were trying to work out and sort themselves as to the way Arsenal were playing, because it wasn't what they were expecting from Arsenal, but it wasn't a positive thing from Arsenal either.
Yeah, but I think, see, in them big games, that can help. Not like getting in a mill up like that, but it was ill thought of from Arteta, because look at the spine of that Arsenal team yesterday. I think they're one of the youngest teams in the Premier League. Like, they're coming up against the juggernaut, especially at Anfield, Liverpool. All of our boys have experience of playing in big games, Champions League finals, semi-finals, league title, the big title deciding games. And when he done that, it was kind of like Liverpool went, all right, now fuck this. Who does this fella think he is? We're going to pour it on you now, and you're going to break. And it's as simple as that. And that's exactly what happened, because as soon as all of that kicked off, you can literally look at the game from then on, and Liverpool just said, nah, we just took the game by the scruff of the neck. And then the levels started to really show, because I think Arsenal have turned the corner in a sense that they're not the sort of laughable joke team that they have been for previous years. I think that Arsenal side are capable of nipping into the top 4. But I think the gulf between Liverpool, City and Chelsea is massive at the moment. And that probably from 30 minutes onwards to the very end of the game was an exercise on how to play pressing, attacking, open, expansive football that you can see that Arteta's trying to implement. And part of me is kind of like, I admire the fact that he kept trying to play out from the back, but then at the same time I'm thinking, don't be so fucking naive. Like, I think playing your man Tavares, who apparently has been decent, he was like a bleeding dog with 2 dicks playing at left back there.
I enjoyed him. I thought he was great.
I honestly thought they would have played him in midfield as part of a midfield pair with Partey and put Tierney at the back and try to double up on Mo and Trent on that side. I never thought they'd start him at left back.
But even that, like, the big wankathon about Ramsdale, I was thinking, like, not one of them saves are good. The one in the second half is good from the one Mo pulls back.
Only one good save. Only one good save he made.
The rest of them are all at him, really, aren't they? So I was thinking, going like, I don't know, Gab, but it's just Arsenal are mad. I feel kind of sorry for them in the same way I felt sorry for Solskjaer yesterday. I feel sort of sorry for Arsenal because I think they want to be taken seriously. No, you couldn't not feel sorry for Solskjaer yesterday.
Do you want to fucking bet? Wait, stick around for another 40 minutes and I'll tell you.
But yeah, I think the cream rises to the top, and in the end we pissed all over them, and we're gonna get on to the Mo Salah fella is just
Stop the wall, isn't he?
He was doing. I was just laughing yesterday when he was doing. Did you see when that touch and he took the ball out of the sky and the camera caught the Hendo and Hendo's laughing. I was just kind of going,
I seen him do that in training last week, kind of thing. Like
the funny thing is, like, I don't think so, like Veranda Cheese is saying, "Oh, you never give Arsenal a fair crack at the whip." I'm just telling you, as I seen it, you know, if they were good yesterday, I would have told you they weren't. But I can see where you're going with the sneaking into the top 4, because they're turning into Arsenal from 5-6 years ago, where they flat track bully their way into the top 4. They do fuck all against the top 6 and they win most of their games. With the last time they got into the Champions League, they did an amazing record against the bottom 13 teams of the league. Like, I mean, amazing. Like, with 26 games, I think they won bleeding 22 of them or something. They don't fuck all else. But they have that look of them. Keith, I'm going to give you the first shout on this little melter that manages them. Because what I can't get from this is, what's he going on about? Like, Klopp says it. There's a challenge in the air. There's no issue with it. The both of them come down onto the ground. It's no foul from what anyone can see. They both get up, and this fella's having a go, and Klopp simply says to him, "What do you want? What do you want from that?" And he just loses the fucking plot. Is that him being confident? As it say, I'll stand up to this fella now. We're past the first half hour or so here, and I'm 0-0, and I'm fucking frustrating them, and I'll show him on the sideline as well. Was it a badly judged attempt at trying to be, you know, try to show some superiority to Klopp? Do you think that's what it was, or was he just being a tick?
Well, I don't think he's a tick, right? Because I think he's a smart fella, and I think he overthought. You know when you overthink things and you plan it out. I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to let this fella be in me bleeding face or that like that. And I'd say he had it in his mind that if that Klopp fucker opens his mouth about anything, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be running amok, and he just picked the wrong incident. You know what I mean? Because it was a nothing incident, and it was, you know, it's a header. They're trying to say, "Oh, Mane's leading with his arms." There's no bleeding elbow. There's no.
He's up high and he's heading it on.
There's nothing in it. And Klopp comes out and says he reacts because he feels Mane is being targeted. He was targeted by Atletico Madrid, and he felt that Arsenal were starting to act the bollocks as well, and we're going to start trying to get him booked. And there's no, you know, it's not foul, so we're trying to get him booked. And he jumps in, and it's the most ill-advised. It was like Frank Lampard.
That was the greatest.
the Chelsea one, and he's given it loads. But you could hear every word of that, which made that bleeding fantastic. It's up there with that. And it's the most ill-advised, it lit a touch paper under the ground. Because as Seany said, and we've all sort of alluded to, we were sort of going through the gears. We weren't playing too good. I don't think we were that bad. I think Arsenal were, they were coming out, they were playing that game. They probably shocked that they were still in it after half an hour. Sometimes they can get the arse blown out of them after 20 minutes at Anfield, and they stayed in it. And then I just think he everything he does wrong. There's nothing in the incident. He flips out. I think they're not on top. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't understand why he's feels the need to do it. And like I said, I don't think he's a stupid fella. I think he's a smart fella. I don't know if the Everton thing, because they're just giving him abuse about that. I don't know if he was over emotional going into it. He's a calm fella, even after the game, like he's talking about it and he's not saying much, and he's quite calm about it.
His interview after the game was redeeming. It was redeeming, actually. It was.
Yeah, but it's not an emotional outburst then, because some managers you'd say, like Frank Lampard, when he done it, was still talking scutter about it. Do you know what I mean, in his interview? Whereas I think Arteta is like,
CV, to be
I think he knew it. Yeah, but I think he knew. He's like, bollocks. But everyone knew. You're sitting there watching it. The commentators, whether you're watching it on Sky Sports, BT, fucking beIN Sports, Al Jazeera, whatever, everybody is saying the same thing. It's like, ooh, that's going to change this. That's going to bleed. That's going to wake these up. And immediately it does, and it never stops. And they just crumble.
Well, Arsenal fan circle channel, who's a long time viewer on this show, so it's good to have him in tonight. He says Klopp does that to get a tune out of his team. Lost to West Ham and dropped points versus Brighton, points desperately needed. And he follows that up with just saying that we did frustrate your team for 30 minutes until the end. I've no doubt you've frustrated Liverpool. That's what you were there to do. I couldn't understand how, coming into this game, people going on about Arsenal's form and they were in a rich vein of form, and Arteta had them doing this and Arteta had them doing that, and then they turned up and done none of what they were talking about. I
think it was a false economy. It was a false economy because they weren't playing great. Sorry if I couldn't across you there, guys. They weren't playing great, and Liverpool were missing chances. And as Seany touched on there, Ramsdale's making saves. Every one of them. You're looking at them and you should be saving them. And I'm looking at them and I'm saying, he's spilling this. Do you know what I mean? Like, Thiago's volley goes straight at him and he spills it. And that's how Mane gets it. There's another one that he palms straight back out. And I'm like, this fella is dodgy as fuck. But he's starting to smell himself because he makes a couple of good saves. Arteta then jumps in.
He makes one off Trent as well, where he's smiling when he gets up. And now, I
don't know whether that's straight down him, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know whether that's an England thing.
I wouldn't mind.
Probably is.
He should save the first one. Like, he's trying to be Gordon Banks. He's trying to wave the ball past the post.
Yeah,
whereas
that's it.
Yeah, the first one was on him, 100%. But you look at the Arteta thing. Arteta wanted a card. Arteta wanted Mane sent off for leading with the elbow and tried to influence the referee. I mean, Arsenal, let's not forget, Arsenal were coming into this game on the back of a 10-game unbeaten run and 2 draws against decent sides. But they beat sides who they should beat if their ambition is to get into the top 4. I think they'll get into the top 6. I think top 4 is probably a little bit too much. But they'll definitely get in the top 6 to get back into Europe this season. I mean, it's all well and good we're being comfortable after a 4-0 win. I don't want to do Arsenal down because it's a good win. But they came to us and thought, we're in this at half an hour gone. It's like it's like a courtship. You're going out with someone and you're touchy-feely. It's
careful.
No, it's like we're finding out what what you can do and what you can't do. And that's what the game was like for the first 20, 30 minutes. It was like we were feeling them out, seeing what we can get away with, what we can't get away with, where can we attack, where can't we attack. And then after that blew up, everything just changed. The atmosphere changed. The way we were passing the ball changed. The attitude of the players changed. The aggression, everything changed on the back of that. On the back of that, and it's like you'd have thought Arteta would pick your bunnies. Do you know what I mean? You might get away with that at some grounds, but Anfield under the lights, do you really want to piss people off? You know, you're 0-0. Pick your bunnies, and he just didn't. He absolutely ballsed it up.
And he did like
he ballsed it up. As simple as that.
They were in a good position. They were 0-0. They weren't doing much, and they were in a good position. But like, I don't know what he's at. I really, really don't know what he's at. Like, make a call to the referee, all right, and then just stand back. But he's making too much of it.
But I think what Klopp alluded to as well in the post match is that, like, literally any time anything happened, Arteta was at the ref.
Yeah.
About everything. It wasn't just an isolated incident, and Klopp had enough of it basically. And then he referred to Atletico and Mane and having to take Mane off and saying that they were trying to influence the referee in a way that they don't. And I think, like, Mane doesn't help himself sometimes, because 5 minutes later then he boots your man into technical area for nothing.
The way he got his coach to stand in front of him was like, hold me back, please, hold me back. Klopp is like 6'4". Make sure you can't get me, kind of thing. Like,
I think it was, like, he used the phrase like lit the touch paper. I think he's dead right. And then Liverpool just said, you know what, like you said, it's only fucking Arsenal. We'll just put these away now. And that's what happened. Like,
but it is like, and like, listen, who am I to say who Arsenal can turn up and play at Anfield? But, you know, if they come and they want to play like that and they want to frustrate, absolutely go and do it. But don't come out and tell me that that's the way Mikel Arteta has them playing and, you know, shouting the rooftop for the last 4 or 5 weeks, because it wasn't. It was completely against anything that I've seen from Arsenal over the last 4 or 5 weeks. But like you said, you pick your battles, and I'm not saying be scared and be afraid and don't open your mouth, but like, to go around it like that, like, and Klopp, don't get me wrong, Klopp, I'd say halfway through that is going, I'm fucking thank God he's done this, because I'm going to absolutely rally the main stand over here, and I'm going to have everyone up on their feet going absolutely rasher at Arteta now for 60 minutes. And
5 minutes before, I bet you Klopp was doing his halftime team talks like, I'm going to have to get these lads moving somehow. Yeah. And then boom, there you go.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But listen, they hold out and they hold out, and then they haven't held out. And it's Mane or Andy that gets it. And Seany, I'll come to you. Trent, is it 9? 9 assists and a goal in the last 6 games for club and country. And I loved, just before the free kick, you can see his eyes, he's looking. He knows where he wants to put this, and it's a peach of a ball. It's a really good header, but I agree with you. Why the keeper isn't just putting his hand out straight and palming that, or trying to catch it. But it's 1-0 down. And genuinely, Seany, when it goes 1-0, I thought it was game over.
I didn't think it was game over because of the habit we've seen to have lately of giving up leads, to be honest with you. But what really impressed me was that what we hadn't been doing really is, I was like, we're turning up the pressure here. We made it count. And that was like, it was ruthless, you know what I mean? From the set piece, you could see them dropping, thinking, Arsenal were thinking, right. Because it's like one of them things, if they get in at half-time, they're probably thinking, right, mission accomplished. Let's be a bit more aggressive going forward in the second half and go on the break. But then Trent just, the ball, forget about the goalkeeper, the cross. The kid is ridiculous. The numbers he's putting up at 51 assists for Trent, like, he's 22.
51 assists is fucking insane. It's actually insane.
He's rewriting the book on what it means to play that position.
I think he's in around the same as Henderson for assists for Liverpool, and Henderson's there 10 years as a midfielder. I don't think he's far off Henderson.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just... And you know what? I think Trent can be a little bit... he can be guilty of probably smelling himself sometimes. Do you remember when he does go on to he seems to go into a bit of a lull, but he has a really good week with England, and then he comes and he picks up, and he's playing probably his best football of his career, I think, at the moment, in the early stages of his career.
Well, you wouldn't let me put him in my team of the year, so...
Yeah, well...
that was before he got the assist, Ken. He's had a good week, for fuck's sake.
If we do it tomorrow...
I'll tell you what...
Seany, let you put it in tomorrow if we do it tomorrow.
Reece James wasn't too bad either, to be fair, but...
I had
Now,
Tommy
I think
Yasu in mind, so shame on me.
Yeah, you want to bleed the
he's
side yourself out.
he's ridiculous, Gab. He's my
Yes,
favourite player to watch in this Liverpool team.
Yeah.
Just
You did say by
uh,
the end of the year he'd be in yours.
yeah, like I said, Kev, the cream always rises, mate. And I do genuinely
Absolutely.
believe that he's out on his own. And look,
I think he's held to different standards, isn't he? Like,
yeah, and I tell you
when
what,
Trent's getting abused, we expect too much from him.
It's the same
I
as
think
Mo, isn't it? Is anyone, apart from Mo?
Virgil.
Trent is the same. It's apart from Trent. It's crazy what
and that's what like
standards.
they whisper your success and then scream your failures. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As soon as he
Yeah,
makes a mistake, then they'll be on top of him on
Yeah.
all of these mad channels where people like to shout at the camera in their bedroom. Like,
Shouty. Owen Borg says Cafu only had 40 assists in his whole career. Trent has got to 51 assists in 5 years fewer than Danny Alves did it.
Wow, what a stat!
He could genuinely just look. I'm knocking this on the head, lads.
He could genuinely go down as one of the greatest players that we ever have. I think
He will
by
go
the
down as the
time,
best fullback we've ever had. I said this
Oh,
already.
no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah.
But look,
Well, no,
Players,
there is a doubt because you've liked to Phil Neal and stuff like
we're
that.
gonna give flowers to the other fella on the other side. I thought Simicast again was fucking.
He was very good. Yeah,
Absolutely
very good.
outstanding. So, look, these are good headaches to have, and you have Nico Williams as well, who's been flying at Wales, and
Well, he's literally Gareth Bale now.
basically. So, look, long may it continue. I love watching Trent. If you want to do a show on Trent here, we can just cut the rest of this and just talk about Trent for another 40 minutes if you want.
We can organise it for some stage during the week.
He's out of this world.
But listen, he's phenomenal, and Mane, like we've touched on him there, he's part of that problem where there's a run in there with the managers, and then he just builds a fella because he's like, well, I might as well take the yellow. I was meant to have her anyway. But just a word on Mane, Keith, because I read somewhere today only Mo Salah has more goals in the Premier League this season than
that old chestnut is only Mo Salah.
Only Mo Salah, yeah. Now, and I wanted to bring it up for two reasons. One, people don't feel that he's playing that well this season, but he's banging in goals. And two, Salah has 18 months left on his deal. So, same player, same age, same amount of time left on a deal. I know people are worried about Salah signing, but it's the time to start worrying about Mane as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been critical of Mane in the past that his performances looked to have dipped and he wasn't getting the goals, where he's getting goals now and he's doing good numbers. I think he's behind Mo in the goal scoring charts with Vardy, but what more do you want? Again, it's we're holding some players to standards where, if they're below a 10 out of 10, it's like, get them out.
Yeah.
And it's not really fair, do you know what I mean? But Mane has set such a high bar. And what we do forget about Mane, Mane comes in, he's a right winger. He, gives that up for Mo when Mo comes in, switches over to the left, just hits the ground running with that, goes in, essentially plays second fiddle. And the two African players, both challenging for the African Player of the Year every year, challenging for AFCONs and things like that. And there is a rivalry between them. And he keeps going, but he doesn't get the attention he deserves because after Mo Salah, you know what I mean? Everything is Mo Salah. But I think he's starting to get into a bit of form. He's scoring goals, but his play, I mean, for all that, he kicks out. Is it Ben White that he volleys on the side in the technical area?
Yeah.
It's Ben White.
Yeah.
I thought he caused them trouble all day. Tommy Yasu, there was the challenges and all that. He was a thorn in his side. And I just think he's not getting the credit he deserves. Like so many of our players over the last few years set a bar so high that anything below that, and we know we don't have the biggest squad. We know we don't have a bottomless pit of money to just have 4 and 5 good players in every position. We just expect too much from them. Mane had a dip last year, wasn't getting the goals. This year, he's getting goals. What more can you ask for from your left winger?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's one to watch.
I thought he was poor. To be honest with you,
I don't think he was great in the first half.
No, I thought Tommy Asa did really well against him for the first 20, 25
But
minutes.
isn't that a season where he's up and down? Like somebody does say there in the chat, and it's gone on me. He says he's up. No, sorry, it's right on the screen, Gaff. Mane's performance is being up and down, but he's not stopped scoring, and that's very true, Shawnee, isn't it? Like he's literally
and
a bit hit and miss.
The same can be said by Jota. Like they don't.
Jota's not arsed about playing football, by the way. Just banging goals.
Yeah, like that's but like it's just they just seem to be there and they're putting numbers on the board. Like I was surprised yesterday when I flipped up the goal scorer and I see him, Mane was second. So obviously he's doing what he's doing. Look, you need to remember as well. I'm not saying that he's finished. I don't think he's been. You don't think he's been great, but last year you could kind of. I think he struggled with COVID. I think he was bad with COVID, wasn't he? Like it affected him. He came out afterwards saying that affected him physically and mentally. So, look, Sadio Mane being in form at the same time as Mo Salah, I think it's illegal. I think it's an unwritten rule. That's something where
I'll take Sadio Mane off. I'll take Sadio Mane off form for the rest of the season if he scored in 7 and 12.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I mean he'd hit 21 league goals, something like that.
And he won't have that. And the thing is, it's great now that they seem to be sharing the goals out amongst the front three. Although Mo was running amok, but I find that the two lads, that there was talk of a bit of a rift between Mo and Sadio, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I don't
body language to me always looked a bit wrong.
Well, it did, to be fair, let's be honest. I think there was something, but whatever it was, I think they seem to have squashed it because they're definitely looking at each other, for each other.
They're playing for each other,
Yeah, you can see, and even Mo's celebration yesterday, they're embracing each other, and they hadn't been doing that, so that's only good for us.
I think that's down to Mo being less selfish. I think Mo had to change that because you look at sorry for cutting across you, Shani. You look back at the Burnley game a couple of years ago when Mane is fucking clear and Mo, instead of squaring it, cuts in, loses it, Mane has a shit fit.
And then
there was, and flips out. Milner's laughing, Bobby's laughing, everyone's laughing. But there was a bit of an issue where he just wasn't passing. Then Salah starts just getting assists all over the place and culminates yesterday where he's popping one on Sadio's popping one on a play from. Like there's no issue there now, but I think that might have been, like I say, competitive. Big competitiveness with them. The fact that they're the top African players, 2 of the top African players as well, and the pride of battling for that, I think, just got on top. But Mo changed his game for us. But
as Gav, you were talking about contracts, like it's an elephant in the room that we don't seem to be addressing, and I'm genuinely starting to worry.
Yeah. Well, I always say, it's when it gets to January and you've 18 months left, I start to fucking freak out.
That's
when I freak out. The 2 years thing never bothers me. There's once you sort it. But when it gets into January, people go, well, he still has 18 months left. Me bollocks. If he's 18 months left, right, you're getting further and further away from agreeing a deal because he knows then once he gets to the summer, he's only a year left and he just dropped all fucking contract negotiations to go, listen, forget it. Because in another 6 months time,
6 months,
I'm signing for somebody. You know what I mean? And it's not even the signing of it. It's, look, we all know what we're going for this season. Like the Arsenal Fan Circle channel asks, what's a good season for you? Winning the league is a good season for us. Anything else, I'm not interested in. But what I'm saying is, it's not even the contract negotiation is, and this season's fine, but what happens next season if you have 2 or 3 players, right, that are literally going to be walking out the door, right, in 6 months or 8 or 9 months' time, and you're going for the title, right? Are they going to put that foot in? Are they going to this? Are they going to that? They're leaving the club. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they would. I'm not saying they wouldn't put their foot in or put their head in where it hurts. I'm not saying they wouldn't. But you have to start asking the question. And not only that, if performance slip a slight bit, the first thing that's going to be thrown at them is, well, he does not interested anymore. And that's what tumbles through the squad. Then that's what leaks into squads and stuff like that. That's all I'm worried about. But listen, for me, like, I don't know. It's not my decision to make. Salah should be absolutely signed up, no doubt about it. I do Mane as well. And I'd nearly say to myself, you've made your money on him. The money you've spent on Mane is well worth it, and you've been paid back. Yeah. What I mean by that is, Shawnee, I'm not against going in and signing another player and putting them up against Mane and saying, right, you go for it and see who wants to play. That's about building the squad. That's all. That's where I would be on it.
I'd nearly, before we move off that, I would nearly give Mo a new contract, sell Sadio, and let Bobby go on a free.
Yeah, but you
that's
hate
how I'd
Mane.
see the trade. And go, no, I do not hate Mane.
You're always trying to sell him.
I just don't think. I think the issue I have without going into a transfer thing on this is FSG will tell you, and Klopp will say it all the time, we invest what we make and blah, blah, blah. We can't afford to let the front three that have got us to where we are walk out the door on fucking Bosmans to trade them, right? So there's not a chance, because what are we going to reinvest? Do you know what I mean? We're not getting any money for them. I don't think Bobby has much value. You might get a few quid off someone. I think Mane you will get money for, and I think Mo you have to sign up. So that's just the way, you know, if you sign up Mo, you replace Mane, you have Jota, and then you have Bobby run down and you replace him the following year. I just think they have to be smart. They can't let the three of them run down together and then trade and walk out.
I agree with Derek Room. I'd extend all three of them.
Yeah, I would as well. But listen,
I use that as a squad building exercise. That's what I do.
The difference between this...
I would.
No.
So hold on. Sorry, Kev. So, Seany, you don't do that, okay? So you
I'm
don't
not counted out. I'm not here. Listen, I'm with you, but we'd be lucky if you get.
So you're just saying no, stop, because you can't see it happening. You do it, but you don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's not that won't happen.
Right. So what you see is one of them being sold off and using that money to buy somebody younger.
I actually feel I fear the worst.
Okay, we're not going into that. We're in good form.
Yeah.
I know what the worst is.
I do. I genuinely do. And look, like I said, it's a fucking elephant in the room that will be addressed at some stage. But I don't know. I just don't know. It's going on way too long now, and you can see like Salah on his international duty, when they asked him, he literally said, "I don't know," and that's not good.
Yeah. No, it is one of those, and you will get a lot of people saying, you know, they'll wait till January and that'll be the signing in January, and it's one of those. Arsenal fan circle, just Watford. I'm not calling him Watford killed football for 3 points. Red Steve says Keith's version of Shag Mary avoid, that is. And Arsenal fan circle channel asks, Gav, would you let them go on a free? Yes, after the next contract, I would absolutely let them all go on a free.
No, I wouldn't.
After the next contract, I would.
Not on this contract.
Not this contract. Yeah, the next one.
Contract.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
out the door.
What I was going to say, all I was going to say was the difference between those three and allowing Genie to walk on a free. Replacing Genie, you would have only got maybe 15 million for Genie if you'd have sold him with 12 months to go on his contract, maybe 20 tops. But he was worth the 20 million to have him there for the year and let him go for free. The difference with allowing Sadio to get into the last 12 months in his contract is he's a 60, 70 million pound player. You can't allow that to leave on a free. A decision is going to have to be made at some point before he gets to 12 months. Either, look, this is the contract. If you don't want to sign it, we'll facilitate a move for you. But either way, you're not going to be leaving the club for nothing.
Yeah, no, I get that.
You know, I mean, he could dig his heels and say, look, I have a contract and I'm leaving for free. There's fuck all we can do about that. But you have to do your best to sign the three of them up to contracts, or be prepared to sell them with 12 months to go, because you can't allow them to walk for nothing. Bobby, you could, but the other two, no.
Jono says FSG can afford a hockey team but can't give a contract to our best. The money they're spending on a hockey team is irrelevant to what is Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant.
FSG on 8 or 9 franchises.
It's a massive franchise and it's a massive investment from
they're wealthy sports business people. They know what they're doing. They treat Liverpool as a separate entity to the Red Sox, to the NASCAR that they have, and what will be the ice hockey team. You can't look at it like that.
But I will say this to you, Jono, and before you come back and tell us that we're not calling them out and we're not this, if they don't sign Mo Salah to a fucking contract, right, it's outrageous. Absolutely.
That'll be the rock they perish on.
It'll be.
I agree.
I've said it. We've said it privately. It's the tipping point. Mo Salah's contract is the tipping point for FSG, and what I mean by that is that people that not mad about them but are not fucking, you know, absolutely FSG maniacs, but not FSG in maniacs, will be kind of going, do you know what? That I'm not having this. Do you know what I mean? And it's not only the money; it's the ambition. And Liverpool fans, for the majority, will hold the club to a certain ambition, and they wouldn't like that. And I'd be on that train. I'd be absolutely fucking appalled, to be perfectly honest.
If you have one of the best players in the world and you let him walk out the door at 30 or whatever age you be, there's no coming back from that, because they said at the beginning, Tom Werner said, we can sign, if the player's available, we can sign them. Don't worry about that. Well, they have them. So,
Yeah.
you know, what's the issue?
There's
You know, and that to
sides.
me is where they sort of will perish on that one if that was to go ahead.
There's two sides to this story, and you know, obviously Salah's representatives have a side to play in this where they're going, yeah, you're offering good money, but we want more, and it's not only on the club, it's on the player and the representative.
No, I don't think it is at all, Gav. I think
Do you
he's entitled to. I think he's entitled to turn around and say, "What's De Bruyne on at Man City?" Yeah,
Jeez.
well, I want.
No. That's what I'm saying.
I want that, and I want more. And
listen.
And you know what? He's worth it because what will they do? Right? Can we get off this after this because we haven't actually talked about much.
Alexa,
what will
play
happen?
Prince again.
Shawnee started it. Shawnee was.
No, what will happen is if you let Mo go, right? It's actually it'll cost them more to let him go than to give him a new contract. So they'll actually save money by giving him a contract.
Yeah. It's not just you lose Mo, you are going to have Virgil knocking on the door saying, look, if you're letting him go, then I'm not spending the best years of my career.
Well, he's no choice. He's signed
scrapping to get into the top four.
Yeah, look,
Shawnee, it's player power. Players hold the power. Contracts.
Yeah, I know, but you'd have to think that all these lads signed the contracts in jest
on the strength of strength of Mo.
Let's just see. Maybe we're overthinking. Well, maybe
until it's signed, we're all in the same boat.
Listen, we're all on the cans when he signs. Like, if you don't get on the cans when he signs,
that's going to be an epic pod.
You know what I mean? Shut the fucking channel down, as far as I'm concerned. Look, we better get into the second half. I just wanted to go to you, Kev, quickly on the Liverpool press, because I've noticed the Brighton game, West Ham, and a couple of other games this season, Liverpool for me didn't look set right in transition off the ball, wherever it might be, and the hunger wasn't quite there. We were letting teams nearly go, oh, go on, show us what you can do, and then we'll try. You know, a bit of I'm trying to think of the word. It's not bravery from Liverpool. It's a bit of swagger isn't even the right word. It's being overconfident in what we're doing and basically going to teams. Go on, you have a go, and then see, and we'll have a go. Whereas yesterday I thought our shape and our press, Kev, was back to we're taking nothing for granted here. We're going to hunt you fucking down, and then we're going to play our game. There was no standing off and let's see what you can do with it.
Yeah, I watched the analysis last night on Match of the Day, and they did a bit on the press, but they did it from that camera angle that pans right out, and you could see the front three and the midfield three and the two fullbacks. It was a front eight press with Lacazette and Aubameyang being left 2v2 with Matip and Virgil. And Matip and Virgil are brilliant when they've got someone to mark. They're absolutely fantastic with it. Now, the difference between that and Brighton gave them no one to mark. Brighton also varied their kickouts, but they went long sometimes they went short, but they were short and quick. West Ham never really played out from the back. They went direct. They went direct to the wings. Rather, like what you were describing, what Arsenal should have done. That's what West Ham did.
Couldn't believe they didn't.
Yeah. And what I couldn't get over, after going in at half-time, Arteta didn't turn around to Ramsdale and Tomiyasu and the other and Tavernier and say, right, you split, you go on the halfway line, the goal kick is going to come to you, you flick it on and go from there. How he never saw it is mind-boggling, that none of the Arsenal players or the Arsenal coaching staff saw this. It was plainly obvious what needed to happen, and it didn't. Arsenal played exactly how we wanted Arsenal to play, in ways that we forced Arsenal from the way they wanted to play out into the middle of the pitch, and we suffocated them in the middle. I just couldn't get over how they allowed themselves to be so easily dispossessed. It was just I was lost for words.
So was I.
I even describing it now, I struggle. I was like, you cannot be this naive. And they were. But we were very, very good. You know, I mean, everyone was on it. Everyone knew where they needed to be. Not the first man, the second man, but the third and the fourth. Even when Ox lost that ball and the recovery for him to lose the ball, it was just like a swarm. It was like, there's a piece of meat in the middle and there's 4 dogs and you're going to go for it. And that's how it was for the entire half.
Thiago's very underrated part of the press, isn't he? Like, he doesn't get a lot of credit, and
he was
he's
really
actually excellent at it.
Sadio was fantastic for me.
Yeah,
Sadio
but Thiago
Trent.
sets the trap. Thiago does set the trap. It's just the little slight movements he makes, and he catches
always
players' eyes when they have the ball. And he's like, "Do I go here? Do I not?" And then he's like, "Bang! He's on you."
But
he's great at nicking the ball high up, isn't he? He always does that. And if he's not nicking it, he's changing the direction of it. Yeah. So
or he's on the ball when it's nicked. Do you notice that? He's always on the scene when someone nicks the ball. He's on it. And
he was class yesterday. Yeah. He was deadly yesterday. Thought the midfield three were all excellent yesterday.
I just couldn't get over how Arsenal didn't learn, and they allowed us to do that to them. Because it was so obvious. It was so obvious.
You say they didn't learn. They come out in the second half, they make it worse. Yeah. By still trying to play the same way, but trying to make the pitch bigger. And I was like, "Is this fucking? This is
but you need to realise, lads, that a lot of their players. This sounds arrogant saying this.
Some of them.
Not even that. Not even Kevin. None of them have played. Not a lot of them have played for Arsenal at Anfield. A lot of them players haven't played football at that level.
Yeah.
You look at Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka. Yeah, they are playing in the Euros, but they went. They haven't played football at that level, to the level we played yesterday, and that's what happens. You just drowned.
Or in that environment.
Yeah, in that, like your man Sambi the Congo was like looking around, going, "This isn't like the Premier League. I'm at to playing a load of games, and I never had this. I always have time on the ball." And your man Tavares is going, "Well, I can open my body out and go forward." No, you can't, because you're getting pressed, and when you go inside. They haven't played football at that level that we played yesterday.
Yeah, we were ridiculous.
They're not used to it. Like, we were so good from 30 minutes on yesterday. Like, the football is outrageous. Like, Jamie Holmes said it in the WhatsApp group, it was big boy football from Liverpool, and they were skilled, our kids. And that's... We literally... They could not live without press or intelligence or use of the ball. How we were moving them around in the final third, the way we were creating chances, like we have the second goal we ball nicks out and Jota, like it's just.
I'm gonna come to that now in a second, but that's what I want for Liverpool now. I don't want to see this kind of standing off teams and letting them pop it around and then see. I want Liverpool to. And listen, you might go in and you might go hell of a letter and do that, and you might lose. They might get a lucky break in midfield.
Didn't someone pops it. But they were against Brighton and West Ham.
They showed something yesterday to me where they just went, "Fuck this," straight in. 30 minutes they watched and they did press. But then when the trigger went, it was like 60 minutes of a pressing machine where Arsenal just couldn't get out. And Arsenal just, instead of having any sense, Arsenal just went, "You're doing this deal. Let's play into some more. I'll tell you what we do. We make this pitch big and we try even more ridiculous passes from the back."
If someone can knit the fourth half an hour from Brighton into a 60. Video with that 60, that is literally the perfect game of football. That's Klopp's football. That's from start to finish. Like the one that's disallowed at Brighton, pressing the keeper on his goal line to yesterday. Like that, if you literally take that half an hour, replace it in that game and put that is literally Liverpool performing at top gear, firing on all cylinders across the park, and we did that yesterday. It was frightening. Just the understanding the players have with each other now is like the third goal, the second goal, the fourth goal. It's all like, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's like watching bleeding synchronized divers. Yeah. Everybody is in tune together. You know what I mean?
That's what I was getting off Match of the Day last night. When you're watching Match of the Day and you're watching it from that distance perspective, when you see all of them move together, and it's like, if I go there, he has to come here, and when he comes inside, Fabinho's there, and if he goes this way, Tsimikas is there. It was just, everyone knew the position where they had to be, and it wasn't a thought, like you said. It was just there, like that. They just went and they believed 100% in all that they did. But the one thing that the midfield three yesterday had that we've maybe missed, you had so much dynamism, you had so much variety in their individual
balance was
ability. The balance was great. You had the holder, you had the destroyer.
The balance is great,
and you had the energy.
But the balance is great because of the attitude in which we play. The balance doesn't look great if we stand off, because Ox looks like a passenger. Thiago looks like, is he interested? And Fabinho looks like he's being isolated. You know what I'm saying? Like when we stand off and we kind of,
Fair point, yeah.
you know, we kind of say, and I think it is, you know, Liverpool just kind of smelling themselves and saying, let them see what they can do, let them into them areas and see what they can do. And those players don't look as good, but when you put that attitude in and you put that press in, that's where the balance looks great, because you go, you know what, look at him, he's snapping in Fabinho, he's fucking clearing up everything. Anywhere Thiago gets it, he's popping it around, and then you've Ox is running into players, getting the ball off him, and he's going 30, 40 yards with it. And that's where the balance looks well. You know what I mean? But it was unbelievable. Keith, I'm going to come to you because Jota just not arsed for playing football. I said it to you earlier. He's not bothered with football. Just give him the ball near the goal and he just goes, I'll do this for the next 10 seconds and then piss off and stop annoying me and come back to me when you have something better to offer. But it comes from a press. It's a naive pass from Tavares, but like... Ben White slides down between the main stand and the cop, and Ramsdale goes to have a good look to see if he's okay, and there's Jota knocking the ball in the net. It was unbelievable, brilliant finish.
Yeah, you're right. Like Jota's a weird player because he's lethal. You know, he's excellent in the air, and the highlight for me wasn't even this goal. We come on to it in a minute, but the goal is mad because Tavares. I don't know if Sean or Kev touched on, you know, he was getting forced into playing the ball back inside and he just gifts it to Jota. He puts Ben White on his arse, but here, Aaron Lonsdale on that blade and that goal, I don't know what he does. He sits down, but Jota doesn't have to do anything. It's, you know, I can't even say he took it around the keeper because he doesn't even change his body. Yeah. He just walks past him.
He keeps going in the same direction.
Ground. And it's just madness like that. They're giving a player who's that, you know, I don't know what his figures are, but his goals per minute ratio, like, it must be very fucking high because the fella always seems to score.
He's on the list of anyone but Mo. He's just behind
Mo. Like he just always seems to, you know, give him a sniff in there and he puts them away.
Reminded me of Prime Torres.
Yeah. The way he just
composure and cold.
Yeah. And
he loved going by a keeper, didn't he?
Yeah, but Torres used to take players out of the game without touching the ball, like just the drop of the shoulder. You notice he done that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly what it was like.
And he's had a few got like, you know, the hat trick away to Atlanta last year. I was looking at him going, like, there's a lot of Fernando Torres about Diogo Jota that I see in him, and he's a killer. He's an absolute killer. Like, you don't see him miss many chances, sure you don't. No, when he gets them, he takes them. So,
which is something that he can be guilty of a lot, isn't it? Like, waste.
And I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right. Yeah. I know Klopp alluded to it yesterday, but he played on, didn't he? So, hopefully it's not too much of an issue. Because
he'll have the week off anyway, so...
He just... It's class.
He's just deadly. Say my name, which I think is Red Steve again. He just keeps changing his fucking name. Remember we were talking about R9 sitting players down. That was on the Man on Football Show. Yeah. He'd have been proud of that one, and he would have been like.
And you don't see it much anymore.
No,
you don't see it.
Torres loved it. Torres,
but you just don't get that time in the box anymore, do you? There's normally the centre back pairing and the holding. Most sides play with two holding mids, so the amount of time you normally have in a box is slim to none.
Especially with that amount of players around you. If you go through and go in the halfway line, you put through one goal and you've 30, 40 yards to run.
Bobby put a few of them on their arse a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he did.
He went through, and that was a straight run, a couple of swerves that are on the deck.
But this was like, pick the ball up on the edge of the box.
Yeah.
It's like when you're playing FIFA and your connection goes and you're in the box next to the ball. Literally 2 seconds later and you're clean through in front of goal and open goal and you're going, how did that happen?
Yeah, but you know what it was like? You know when you go to shoot and then you press the pass button real quick and it does the thing? That's what it was like. Jota just going square X.
Ben White was doing handbreakers in the box and bleeding.
Ben White was like a Rob Micrey. He was in the box.
Ramsdale is eating the arse out of his centre backs before he even passed it into the net.
Ramsdale went for a nap. Did you see him going out for a nap? It was unbelievable. But
class.
It was 2-0. Now, I said this to Kev beforehand, and you might disagree with me, but Keith, I'll come to you on it, right? The goal that makes it 3-0, right? I want you to think back to Arsenal 3, Spurs 1 earlier in the season. And I want you to think back to Aubameyang's goal. where Arsenal player from the back, Aubameyang flicks it around the corner for Emile Smith-Rowe, who plays it back into Aubameyang and he scores. And I remember watching that goal and just could not believe how Spurs had let Arsenal basically pass the ball 80, 90 yards up a pitch without going near it. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. Massive credit to Alisson with the ball. To Tsimikas. The header into Jota is great. How Jota gets that much purchase on that header is beyond me.
That's the highlight of the match for Jota.
And then
Mane, the pace on the ball. It was the pace on the ball.
A true ball header from about Bladen 55 yards out.
Yeah.
Into the run.
Mane tears through. I've heard some Arsenal fans saying, when Mane takes that touch, why does the keeper not come out? Keeper doesn't come out because the defender chasing Mane and two inside him. And why should he come out? Just make himself as big as he can, but because they're all attracted to the ball.
Imagine if the keeper does run out to that and then they'd be all screaming, what's he doing coming out? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
It's
a brilliant goal, and I was delighted for Salah to get one because I think he was gone 2 goals out of game, hadn't he? Or 2 games out of goal.
Yeah.
I was delighted to see him get it, but it was a fucking brilliant goal.
Yeah. It was a great goal. And Liverpool have scored so many excellent team goals this year that don't really get the credit. You know, going from back to top, you know, they've scored some fucking great goals. That was an excellent team goal because like that, it wasn't a 25 pass move. Alisson clips it out, boom, 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 we're up there and it's in the goal. And as I say, Jota's header was just fucking ridiculous. You know, to get that, to generate that power, and that's something he's excellent, an excellent header of the ball. And I don't know, like, it's a Portuguese thing that they practice headers that people don't do anymore. Like, if Ronaldo can play and jump like the salmon and knowledge, he can get up in 15 feet into the air to get a header. Jota is only a small fella, but he's excellent in the air. Do you know? And you marry that then with the work rate and the skills. He's putting a fucking through ball, you know, with a header from that distance in behind the back four. I just thought it was an excellent goal. I love a good team goal like that, and it's just typical. It's a Liverpool goal this season. I think it's just typical of what we're doing.
Yeah, it was absolutely brilliant, Johnny.
Great cross with his weak foot as well.
It was. He puts on a play from him, and Salah's never missing. Like, to be honest with you, but Johnny, Minamino turns up. He gets on the pitch, and
I love him.
About 40 seconds later, he's tapping in. But again, Shawnee, it's another great move. Henderson gets it in the middle of the park, plays it to Mane. Mane manages to hold on to it, gives it to Salah, who I thought was just going to shift on his left and have one, but he doesn't. He knows the Trent going outside, and once you put Trent,
just leaves it for him.
Yeah, he just pushes it into him. Once you Trent in that position, you just know it's coming. You know, I was listening to the Anfield rap this morning, and one of the lads, Ben, on it was saying, "Do you never know when you know you're going to be happy, and then you're happy?" He goes, that's what them goals were like. He said, like, Salah plays at the thing. He said, you might as well start celebrating because it's Trent from 12 yards with a ball across the box. He's never missing them. But it's another great goal. Great for Minamino, though, as well, Shawnee.
Yeah, and it goes back to what I said about, like, this sort of pattern. Like, we were like a basketball team yesterday in full flow. You're saying Ox gets a chance, right? And you can see Tsimikas is on the overlap to do the exact same thing that Trent had done about 10 minutes before. And it's just patterns of play with us. And Mo's know-how that he knows Trent, and he just overlap. He doesn't even pick his head up. He just plays it off to him because he knows he's going to be there. It's like they're all in sync with each other. And Minamino's in the right place at the right time. And I thought he looked really sharp when he came on, Minamino. And I was delighted for him. His first league goal in front of the Kop, and you could see the players sort of embraced him because I think Minamino has been unlucky, to be honest with you, since coming to Liverpool. That he hasn't played more minutes and featured more because I don't know why he hasn't. I think whenever he's played, I don't remember watching Minamino too much and thinking he was shite tonight. He really didn't do anything for us. I thought he's been very, very unlucky. And hopefully now with these build-up of games, we see him playing. Like, I'm going to the game on Wednesday. I hope he starts. Like, I genuinely do because I do like him. I do really like him. And I think he's a viable option, Gav, to be honest with you. I think he can play from wide. He can play through the centre. I think he's very good technically. I think sometimes his physicality lets him down. But you can tell now he's drilled into the Liverpool system because he's getting on the end of them moves. And I was delighted for him. And the embrace with the players and Klopp giving him his flowers as well at full time. I'm delighted for him, and it really was like the cherry on top of a particularly delicious cake.
Well, to be honest with you, like, all you want is them to do well, because we have got a build up of games coming. We've the African nations coming in January, and listen, it's in everyone's interest that Minamino start showing some form, getting a few goals, assists, getting more involved. I'd love to see him get 90 during the week, to be honest with you. I'd put him in.
I'd like to see him start with Mane and Salah instead of just getting thrown in with Origi and whoever else.
Gordon or something.
And Gordon. I think he deserves a crack at a whip with the two main lads around him. That, you know, like, and I don't think that's something that he's had. You know, and I think he deserves that.
Yeah, or you know what he could do? He could just go with the front three that he thinks he might play when the African nations is on. Now that might be Origi, who's nursing an injury, but he might do something like that. Now's the time to try it. You're through in the Champions League, it doesn't matter. Tyler Morton gets 8+ injury time at the end, and I was delighted. It was great to see Klopp bringing a player on like that, and he's been impressive away at Norwich and away at Preston in the League Cup, and to see him coming on, it was great. I'm not going to say who said this, but in the WhatsApp group yesterday, someone said, "What the fuck is the story with that bench? It looks like a list of bleeding 25-year-old whiskies." But and then someone said, "My God," he said, "They're at the list of load of them regen players in the Pro Evo on the bench." So I was saying one of the Pro Evo boys come on near the end.
But it was great that he came on. You know, the fact that he came on was a sign that...
He hadn't even got his real face. He had one of them generic faces when he comes on. So now they're like, he's just a normal, just a blank face. I can't wait to see what he really looks like. I'm gonna have to look him up.
Matt Taylor from Portsmouth. Do you remember him? But no, fair play.
There was one belter. There was one brilliant bit for him. I think there was only about 5 minutes to go. The ball was out in the right, and it went back to Virgil. And all you could see, the camera panned to Morton, and all you could see was him screaming at Virgil to switch it. And I just thought, you know what, you're only a young fella. What you do is screaming at a centre at Virgil to tell him how to play. That's what you want. I was delighted for him. I was more made up the fact that he had the balls to turn around to a potential club captain and bellow at him to switch the play. Having someone like him, and he has looked composed, and Klopp has always talked about him, that he's a natural six. He's a real deep playmaker. He had the confidence. I mean, it was nice to give him the debut and what have you, but he definitely doesn't look out of place anytime I've seen him playing for Liverpool. Well, you know, he looks tidy. He looks like a nice, tidy footballer. And he does, and Klopp he's very young. So,
well, Klopp has said that he needs to build himself up physically. But when asked what Klopp asked him, Klopp said, "Go on there, play your game, slow it down, take control, control the game and get it at air pace and bring a bit of order to the matter." Now, ask an 18-year-old in midfield to win the Premier League game on your first game and go, "Listen, we just go in and take control of midfield there and look after that for the next 10 minutes." Like, it shows that he believes in him, you know. And loads of chat or loads of talk in the chat about Pochettino being interested in going to United now. Zidane not interested. We get on to that. We get on to. We're gonna just laugh at all, to be honest with you. Who gives a fuck who they put in charge? Yeah. But 400 people watching, 140 likes. Smash the like button there, and if you don't do it now, do it on your way out, please. It is important. As I said, when it's over, if you have any comments or any feedback, leave them in the comments section below. And if you're listening on the audio download that comes out as well, make sure to give us a rating and a review. Is that right? They the right words? Rating and review. Go and do that. Apparently, that's good if you're on Apple Pods or any of your podcast apps. Man of the match, Keith.
It's easy to get. I thought Mo was great yesterday, to be honest. I thought he was absolutely scandalous. Like, it's boring giving it to Mo. I'm giving it to Mo. Fuck it. For the taking it out of the air, and he just was a thorn in the side. I thought he was fucking excellent yesterday. And it was looking, it was dangerous every time he was getting it. Even at the start of the game, he just looked on it from the very beginning. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. So just go with the obvious one and give it to Mo. Special mention for Thiago. I thought he was excellent as well. I'm a huge fan of Thiago's, and he's stop-start, but I thought he was brilliant yesterday, but Mo was out of this world.
Okay. Seany?
Mo again, for me. Like, it is boring, but when you're seeing a fella operate at that level playing for your own club, it is different. Like, for years and years I watched Messi just be better than everybody, and when you're watching him, it's like he's playing a different sport, and just the players bouncing off Salah yesterday, the fullbacks, the defenders, the midfielders trying to get at him, like Thomas Partey bouncing off him. Like, he's just, the ball sticking to him. Like, he didn't score until late in the game yesterday, and you could hear the boys in commentary going like this, like, he's just been unbelievable today. He was incredible. And look, there's so many other honourable mentions. The three boys in midfield. If I'm gonna give it to somebody different, I thought Oxlade-Chamberlain was absolutely brilliant.
He was
yesterday,
brilliant,
to be honest again. And
Tsimikas was brilliant as well.
Yeah, I think Ox is really
taking all the names on Kev here.
Ox was always a rhythm player. Like, for as long as he's been a footballer, I always remember him being a rhythm player. Like, and he's playing well, and it's good to see. I just hope he can stay fit now, because a fit Ox is useful in any squad. So but look, if we're gonna have to start doing this only for Mo Salah without Mo Salah, we're just gonna have to start it. I'd say Ox.
Okay, Kev.
Yeah, I'd have gone with Fabinho. I thought Fabinho was outstanding yesterday. Marshalled everything in midfield. Dictated an awful lot of the press from deeper as well. Some of his passing was exceptional. Virgil looked really sharp. You know, he looked as sharp yesterday as I've seen him in a long time. Some of his long passing was really good. Alisson, the calmness in his distribution, made that one save. Yeah. But I'd agree with Seany about Ox. Ox made that, it was 0-0, and Ox made a really good run into when he followed Saka into the box. Virgil got drawn out into the left because Tsimikas was out of position. And Ox followed in on Saka and managed to get a boot on a clearance. And if you're playing in that Henderson role, you have to be good going both ways. And I thought that was really good. But for me, I thought Fabinho was not head and shoulders, but he was back to his best yesterday. I would have given it to Fabinho.
I think Salah's the right answer. But if we're doing anybody but Salah, or anyone except Salah, whatever the fuck way you want to put it, I'm giving it to Trent. Because just watching playing football, it's like stupid.
Can we give it to Matip as well?
You could have given it to anyone.
No, it's just stupid what Trent does. Like, and I think, you know, I've been a little bit concerned over Trent and the overall shape of the team, because I think they're trying to do something slightly different with Trent again this season, and I think it's hurt us on occasion. But the mix yesterday of him being high, and the way we played and the way we pressed helped him so much for me. Because when we press, the first time, everywhere you look, it's like Trent's out there, give him it. Because if you give it to him on the heart, we'll only do something with it. And I thought he was brilliant. I thought defensively he was really good when he was called upon. And yeah, let's go with Trent. But look, anyone can get a mention, to be perfectly honest with you. Before we go on to our last little topic before we leave, the Man on Football show is on tomorrow night. Make sure you subscribe. The link is in the description. It's going to be me, possibly on my own, but possibly with somebody else. And tomorrow night is I just want to talk about magical, weird, strange, and deadly football moments that we can all just have a chat about and remember and have a good laugh about for 40 minutes or so. It's just something to do and have a bit of crack with, because that's what the channel is all about. So make sure you look at the link in the description, check it out. I'll be on from 9 tomorrow. The reason I'm on at 9 is because it'll make me only do 45 minutes, because I do a show on this channel at 10, so I'll keep myself in check. We'll be back on Thursday, so I'm not talking about magic moments till 12:30 tomorrow night.
Keith's getting lashed out in the chat
on me Christmas tree. I'm getting lashed out because the perverts can see in me reflection. All the dope bags that are looking to save. I have me drawers hanging up on me. Clothes horse around.
Is that a religious thing where you don't put lights on the top of it?
No, there's a fairy on the top of it. Gillian done this earlier, and she mustn't have been able to reach. So unlucky there. I'll pass on there.
I'll tell you what,
the toy show's on next week, and it had to be done today.
It's got to be up.
I'd have it up as soon as Halloween is over. I'd have it up. Christmas films on, Christmas music. As soon as Halloween's over, Christmas starts.
No.
Clark W. Griswold visited my house on Friday, and I got no say in it. I'm just not going to argue with the person.
I don't go in for all that shit. November, Christmas tree and all.
Most wonderful time.
But anyway, where was I? Yeah, the Man on Football show. Make sure you subscribe in the link, in the show link description thingy. And then we're going to have a laugh tomorrow night. As I said, 9 till about 9:45 because there's a show on this channel and I don't want to cross over. We have a fucking belting show on that channel coming on Thursday, by the way. If you thought Ronaldo was some career, where do you see the one we're doing on Thursday? It's going to be brilliant. We're going to have ones to watch. I can tell you that our teams that we picked have had an horrendous weekend, which I wanted to have a look at quickly.
Venlo done alright.
Venlo got a win against
I tried to put Venlo into my live score and there was about 26 different teams. I says, do you know what, they can, they can get fucked. I'm not adopting them. I'm not going near them. I literally went on live score and I typed in Venlo and there was 46 teams. I says there was basketball teams, lacrosse teams, playing ultimate frisbee teams. I says
Spartan institutions. That's what we want.
But anyway, yeah, we have a belter coming on Thursday, so make sure to go and check that out. So subscribe in the link and all that stuff. And listen, that channel is about us having a laugh, looking back on stuff, looking forward to stuff, and looking at football that's going on right now as well. Update on Sienna. Sienna, I think, has had her second piece of surgery. She is in recovery in America. All has gone well so far. So she will be there for another couple of weeks. I think she'll be back on the 6th, maybe another week. Week and a half, 6th of December. So what we had the 20th of November. So yeah, 2 weeks or so, and she should be back then. So go and, you know, if you see anything about her or you want to wish her luck, go and do that. But everything's going well so far, so fingers crossed as well for that. We have got a new charity team we're going to be back in December. Talking to a few people today about it. I'm getting all the details. We will have it going from the 1st of December. That we're going to back through the month as well. Because why not?
Are you going for a knighthood or something? You chasing?
No, I wouldn't take a knighthood. Not off them.
Send it back.
I get James McLean to bring it back over across the water with him after an international break. Come here, I tell you.
That's half the viewership.
It is orange jersey. The viewers know anyway. Sure, most of the viewers don't like them anyway. The lad handing out the medals. Right, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is left. We get through this quick. We 5 minutes or so left.
No.
And
open a can.
Keith,
open a fucking can.
Keith, I'll come to you, seeing as you're well up for this. Like, I don't feel one bit sorry for him. No. I think it's a sad day for everyone else that doesn't support Manchester United. Yeah. But the one thing that comes out for me is how you can ever take Gary Neville's football opinion serious or have any weight behind it ever again is beyond me.
He's been made look an absolute tit. And all because he veered away from what made him an excellent pundit. Gary Neville was. He didn't hold back. He said it as it was. He gave an opinion, an honest opinion. He didn't like it, but he gave it. And when it came to this, he just looked an absolute skid mark. And look, you know, we can all laugh about it. I'm not worried. You know, some people will say, you know, you're so worried because we're going to get a good manager into Manchester United now. I'm not worried. I enjoyed Ole being at the wheel. You know, it was funny. It was great crack. How he lasted till now. We should do a bleeding a man on pod about that, because how he got even that permanent gig there, it was just a fucking joke. And Gary Neville, you know, everyone could see it. Everyone could see the deficiencies in his management, in his coaching, in his teams, everything. He has one sort of way of playing that reaped a few rewards, and that was when he just played counter-attacking. And it just, you know, he veered away from it, and he was found out. Gary Neville constantly talking him up and not refusing to dig him out was just, you know, it was terrible by Neville. But it's over with now. We'll see Neville will be backlashing everybody out of it, depending on who gets the job there. Well, Michael Carrick, he won't lash him out of it. And we can only hope that he goes from interim to the main man as well. Fingers crossed.
Kevin Ball says Potts is apparently ready to go. Kev, let us know who's writing that, because genuinely for the last 3 weeks I've seen about 40 names mentioned by people that pretend they're in the Manchester United dressing room as soon as anything happens, and they're clearly
see Wayne Rooney distanced himself from it.
Yeah.
Well, you need to realise you laugh at that, but you need to realise that Wayne Rooney was the very first player or person involved in Manchester United to actually see the wood through the trees and asked, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, I know, but they're not giving Wayne Rooney the United job.
Yeah, but he probably, and I'll tell you, if they offered him the up, don't think you take it in a bleeding month of Sundays, to be honest with you, because not
he's
even the fact
Derby who are on minus 15 points, and
not even that, boys. He knows
they're on 0 points. He beat Tottenham today.
They beat Bournemouth today.
Done well
So-
after watch the last 20.
He knows quite well the problem. Like,
Yeah.
just when you think United were starting to get it right, they sit Solskjaer down to say goodbye. Like,
Yeah.
how can let's call them what they are, boys, right? You know yourself. I fucking hate them, making no secret. But they're an institution. Like,
Yeah.
they really are. And to put, like, I actually thought it was one of them Joe.ie jokes when I went on my phone in and said, what a farewell interview. What's this supposed to mean? Like, is this going to be, this is your life for bleeding Michael Parkinson?
No, I thought it was going to be,
like,
someone impersonating him. I thought it was going to be a sketch.
I honestly, they're so out of touch and lack self-awareness. And Solskjaer, like, carried himself as a bit of a, like, oh yeah, like, where's his fucking self-pride?
Dignity, yeah.
Where's that dignity?
But that's what I'm saying. That's where does Pochettino suit United, because Pochettino's well known for going up against Daniel Levy and rocking boats there. United want somebody that don't rock a boat. It's as simple as that. Forget football, forget fucking tactics and what you've won before. If you've won everything in the game and you're a yes man and you go in and you'll just be nice and you're good, you'll be in there. That's why Conte never went in. Because Conte would have went in and went, you and you're all arseholes. And see all that money you're taking out, it goes to me. That's how it works.
But Neville's response was, he doesn't suit United. He was like,
would you stop it?
Well,
Gary Neville,
it.
listen, come here, I tell you. If Conte was...
what I'm saying to you is, that's the thing. Yeah, he doesn't suit United because he doesn't... United don't represent anything that he is, which is a winner. Yeah. And they aren't anymore.
You need look what Liverpool done with Klopp. You need to bring someone in that's going to shake it up and is going to fucking fix you from the foundations up. And that's not going to be a yes man. If they want a yes man, they should hire fucking Solskjaer.
They'll get Pochettino. They will get Pochettino because he was literally willing to leave Paris to go back to Spurs. Kev, he's gonna go to
shocked. I'd be shocked, and the reason why I'd be shocked is because Ollie lasted as long as he did. There is no way any credible club with any credible structure would have allowed that to happen. There is no way on earth a decent director of football would have allowed Conte to end up at Tottenham. It just couldn't.
No, you don't see. Podge is literally, as Gav said, the perfect yes man. Like, you need to realise.
I don't know if he is. I think Brendan Rodgers is. I think Brendan Rodgers absolutely is. Brendan Rodgers will go in there and he would tell you what an institution they are and how great technically they are and how they're this and how they're that. And he'd wear that fucking, the blazer they wear with the big crest on it. And he'd do all that and he'd love all that. And he'd be perfect for them. And it doesn't matter.
He is, yeah.
And then you look at the current Leicester squad and you look at where Leicester are right now. He can do nothing with them anymore. Leicester are done. Leicester have had a couple of good seasons. Leicester have had a couple of good seasons. He's won a cup. He's got him to 5th. That's as good as Leicester are ever going to get under Brendan Rodgers. There was something in the Klopp interview when he did before the Arsenal game about Steven Gerrard when he was talking about Frank Lampard and Frank Lampard at Chelsea. And he said about Frank Lampard going to Chelsea, where the hell do you go after that? In the same way as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United. No wonder he didn't want to leave. I felt sorry for him on a human level. Because
I did as well, to be honest.
That was sad. No, but that was sad.
On a human level, that was sad. The manager's parking spot because he thinks it's Alex Ferguson's.
Yeah. I get all of that.
But then he should have been stopped an entrance into the fucking.
That's romanticism to the masses. Like, you know what I mean? It's like these shitebags who still call and boss in the media.
I tell you, when he pulled up at Manchester United to sign his contract, right, and he seen him walking from the fucking far car park, and he said, "Where are you, Ollie? What's the fucking story? You're the manager there." "Oh, I wouldn't park there because that's fucking Ferguson." I would have turned him around, put him back in his car, and said, "Look, forget about it. You're not getting the job."
But that tells you everything you need to know about the structure of the club.
It's not about structure. This is about him.
No, but they're a shambles of a club from top to bottom.
Oh, they are. But listen, don't get it wrong, Kev. But Kev, don't get it wrong. This is the narrative that Gary Neville's trying to push. Where I'm not. It's not because he's basically telling you he's not slagging him because he's me. And in the same breath, he's trying to turn everything away from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, put a little bit on the players, and throw the rest on the owners. The only thing they've done wrong here, the owners, is appoint that man. Right? Yeah. Everything they've done since then is back him to the hilt, no matter what he wanted.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what he wanted. Look, hold on. Did he sign Harry Maguire?
Did he or not? Did he?
Did he sign Harry
Well,
Maguire?
Harry Maguire came out saying
Okay, all
thanks
right.
for signing
Okay,
me, yeah.
so he
Oh,
backed
shit,
him.
yeah, he did, yeah.
Did he sign Aaron Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must
Did he
have
sign
done,
Varane,
yeah.
who can't fucking stand
Nobody's
the
questioning whether
Right.
he was backed or
No, I
not.
know, he
But
was
this is what I'm
back
saying.
in
So
the
how can you turn around? The only mistake they've made is appointing the man, and probably the second mistake is keeping him for that long, and realise after 6 months we should have done the interim thing
Okay,
and got a
right.
manager. They didn't put the groundwork in, and that's where
Yeah.
Kev's point comes in. Where
Mistake in
shambles.
whose eyes,
Because
though?
these what?
Mistake in whose eyes?
Oh well, it's for me. It's fairly blatant that the mistake they made was appointing them, and then sitting back.
No,
and going,
but
he's done all right.
in what sense is it like you're talking about from a perspective of being a Manchester United fan who wants the team to win? All right. So what Kevin is saying is the board actually don't care about winning. They just want to be in the top 4, milking it. That's what
Once they're
that's
getting
all it
$100
was.
million a year out, they don't give
Exactly.
a shit. And that's
it
why
does
they
not
want
matter.
a fella like
whether United
Solskjaer.
finish 4th or 4th, it makes no difference.
No difference.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
only
but the
4th
thing
and
is,
5th is the difference. That's why they sacked Moyes as soon as it was practically impossible.
Yeah, Mourinho
Van
the
Gaal
same.
as soon as it was practically Mourinho. They've done it all the same with them all, and they realised, Gab, straight away, right, if this goes on, we're actually not getting top 4 with this fella, because you can't tell me they have a plan. You can't tell me a second Solskjaer and putting fucking Michael Carrick in there saying they have an interim to an interim. So I said, we're going to put Carrick in and get an interim and then go for someone at the end of the season.
I'd love to see Carrick coming in with the Man United belt on Monday
Man
morning.
Man City will have a contingency plan if Pep was to walk
And
away
so will
tomorrow.
Liverpool.
You bet your bollocks.
Playing down Guardiola before Bladen
yeah.
was gone, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like,
But the thing is, like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're the perfect owners, because they're not. They're far from it. I don't agree
but
with
they're
what
the
they
ones
do.
that are going to get
But
the
what
blame
I'm
for
saying
it.
to you, what I'm saying to you here is, and I keep going back to this, the narrative that's being given to us is, you know, especially from Gary Neville, is, oh well, I'm not going to have a go at our Solskjaer. He's my mate. He said that, but the thing, but he follows that up with, oh, look at this, what the owners do, and look at this, and look at this, and I'm kind of going, well, hold on, look at this, and this, where they backed them and gave your mate all this money. And the thing is, right, if a fella comes in tomorrow that Gary Neville doesn't like and loses the first 3 games, he'd be the first fucker on a Monday night, right? Fucking the guests out of the way to tell you how bad that manager is for Manchester United. And he'll talk about DNA, and he'll talk about fucking heritage, and he'll talk about this. It's all a crock of shit from Gary Neville, and it has been from the fucking start. And anyone that can take his football opinion as any weight behind it now, because not even that, even if he has a go, or any other manager now, manager, player, director of football, owner, whoever it might be, from any Premier League club now, you just go, well, you're only saying that because he's not your mate.
He's hamstrung himself.
He's absolutely strung himself up. Absolutely strung himself up.
And you know what? Carragher now is in the same boat, because they asked him a couple of weeks ago, will he be like that with Gerrard? And that's the problem with media. That's the problem with media. And I agree with Kev. Manchester United is a fucking shambles. They can throw as much money as they want at it. It just goes to another... That interview, it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. When else have you saw it?
That he allowed himself in that position to do it in the first place.
I would not be surprised. The saying now is it's mutual consent, right? So I've obviously said, right, Ole, you were gone. Yeah, I agree to go, right? Well, we're not going to give you a full whack, all right? Because I think he says, but look, we'll give you 3 or 4 million and you're going to address the fans, because all it is for them is a PR spin. You've seen the head of the PR management company who's running Manchester United has literally said, we have charts on what players should put out what tweets, because we know what sort of feedback they get. Yeah. So they're completely, it's a business. It's a business. Yeah. It's nothing got to do with football, Gav. They don't care if they finish 4th or 4th. If it's 4th or 5th, that's when there's problems, because revenues are heavily affected. They don't give a shit about football. They don't care. They honestly, don't give a crap.
I just don't believe for a second that Pochettino goes anywhere near that job.
He will.
He doesn't need it. He's happy enough with PSG. He's streets ahead in the league. He wants a title, first and foremost. He wants to win something as a manager.
Yeah, that's a good point.
However far he wants to go in the summer, if they've got any brains, all right, if anyone at Manchester United has any brains, the first thing they do is they go and get Edwin van der Sar as your director of football. And then you go and tell Van der Sar, you appoint the manager. And then you decide how the club is going to be run.
But the problem they have there, Kev,
that's what has to happen.
Van der Sar is going to go into a meeting where Ed Woodward or whatever the other Mongo's name is and realise, you actually know nothing about football. You're a bank manager. You're a bank man. I'm coming to you with football solutions for footballing problems, and you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm out. Your man Richard Arnold, I'm out. The two boys went to college together.
Yeah.
They ran the bank that financed the move for Glazers. It's jobs for the boys. It's an institute.
Yeah.
It's a family business. That's basically what it is. So they don't want outsiders coming in because friction is bad for them. Friction is bad.
That's what I'm saying. That they won't want to go near the director of football model. For the simple reason is, if they bring in a director of football like a Van der Sar and then you bring in Ten Hag, right? And Ten Hag decides in 6 months' time, well, this squad isn't good enough. I need this, this, and this. And they say, well, we have 50 million to give you in the summer. Or 50 million in January. Or the summer. Whatever. 100. Right? And he says, well, I need 150. I need 180. And they go, what? You want 80 out of 100? We're about to take you out of the club. We're not fucking having that. And then Van der Sar turns around and goes, well, he does need it. And then you have two of the main people at the club, the manager and the director of football, having a go with the owners who just want somebody to keep the thing running. Right? To keep the fucking thing running.
That's all it is.
And then keep the thing running. Keep your fucking mouth shut. We'll take our money out. You get a load to spend. And we might do something. We'll get fourth. But if we don't, fuck it. And if we win a league, fucking great. And that's where the fucking irony in Neville is. Because Neville should have been, the first thing Neville should have been saying and giving out about these owners is, you put him in the fucking job. And that's the worst thing you've ever done. And that's the irony of it all. He should have been giving out fuck about the fact that man got that job and he didn't because it was his mate. And that's absolutely horrendous from him. And look, that's just the way
Barry
it is.
Devaney is right there. Darren Fletcher apparently is at the minute is the current technical director.
Technical director of what?
Exactly. In fairness, that's just a makey-uppy job. You know, I mean, I'm
the technical director of the Lego sets I'm going to be putting together up on Christmas.
You start off with your man's hairdo. You'd be all right. There's one piece in already.
But anyway, look, it's their business, but it was good crack.
But what about him crying in his farewell? Like, this man has no dignity. Fair play, human and all that. He seemed like a lovely fellow.
Somebody says that he wanted to do it on the board agreed.
Yeah, me bollocks. He was wheeled out. It's like a bleeding a fella got kidnapped and was chained for radiator for 6 months and was getting let out, and they told him, look, say a few of these things. If I got sacked from anywhere, right, first thing I'm doing, I'm shitting in that kettle and I'm out the door. There's no way I'm fucking doing an interview saying how great he
was. He was like Jack Nicholson at the end of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah. Just voids, you know, just looking into vast bleeding. And I actually, like Kate said, on a human level, because how demoralising must it be sitting there in front of the camera and all, like, and all the boys saying goodbye to him and all, like, I don't know how to
threw him under the bus, mind you.
Tell you what, Harry Maguire should be getting onto the board saying, get me Rodgers, don't get me a manager with competence, because I'm telling you now,
Harry Maguire's a pure disgrace for the way he got himself sent off yesterday.
The first football man with a brain to win there will be literally turning around to that board and saying, get me 15, 20, 25, 30 million pounds for him, wherever you can. Yeah. Send him off to Turfmoor. Get him the fuck out of here. Because he is just not good enough.
Gosh, he is absolute disgrace. He's the epitome of what's wrong with that club, because he's the captain and he's the leader on the pitch. The fella has no leadership. He has no personality. He has no ability. I'd be straight away, whoever comes in as the manager, even if it is a yes man as we expect, captain's armband plays, that's coming off you for a start. And what's that? Number 6, bomb. Number 42 now. You're bleeding, slubbing it away with the shits because you are not the future. The biggest mistake they've made was him. And they thinking they get Virgil van Dijk and they got him. He is absolute geek.
Right, I'll leave it at that.
Sorry, Harry, if you're watching.
I was a nightclub, by the way, Harry.
That has been the fatback for this Sunday night. Loads coming on during the week, of course. The forums tomorrow. Don't forget the Man on Football Show channel as well. It's tomorrow. Midweek fix is coming up. There's loads coming up, and we'll update you as the week goes on. That has been it. Anything else before we go, Seany?
No.
Good.
Roll on the Man on Football Show. Can't wait for it now.
Good. That Thursday is going to be an absolute belter, but tomorrow's going to be a great laugh. Keith, anything else before we go?
No. I took a beating for my Christmas tree, but fuck it. I don't care.
Take it and move on.
Fuck yes.
Okay.
Just hit the like button on your way out.
Yeah.
That's all we care about.
Anything else before we go, Kev?
No, all good, man. Just looking forward to Porto now midweek.
Good
and
stuff.
we go again.
Good stuff.
I'm actually over at the game, so if anyone's around as well,
fair shout.
Say
Let
hello.
him know.
give me a shout.
Let Shawnee know. Yeah.
Give me a shout.
Okay, good stuff. Right, that has been it. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.